Hello and welcome to Stivers Homestead. I'm Zach, and today we are going to tell you everything you need to know about having a small acreage of land or a small homestead and having cattle on your farm, dairy and beef. So first off, here at Stivers Homestead we have 12 total acres. It's not a huge farm and not all that is for cattle. We have 2 good-sized pastures that I would say takes up about 5 to 6 acres of our property. They do get the most of it, but we have 5 cattle on this. We do a rotational graze, where they're in one pasture, we let one rest, and then we rotate. A lot of that's depending on the weather that we get. I'm feeding hay right now, strictly for this video, so I can keep them with me, and we can talk about each one and their purpose here on the farm, and how you can have all of these benefits too, right where you are. So first off, let's do an introduction if you're unaware. Right here is Mr. Hank. Hank is a mini Hereford bull. He is a tame bull, a good bull. And the reason he's staying here is because he is our primary bull that breeds our females, our heifers that we have. So because Hank is such a good bull, that's why he's going to stay, and he does good at breeding. And he's cuter than Hades. Look at him. Hi, Hank. Oh, Hank. Most bulls ain't going to let you do this. But I love Herefords. Herefords are an awesome breed of cow. This guy's named Henry. Henry the Hamburglar. So Henry is actually going to be dinner. We will be eating Henry as our beef cow, and how we were able to produce him. Hank used to have another friend here with him named T-Bone. If you've been around for a while, you remember T-Bone. T-Bone was an Angus bull. He bred with Daisy, our Jersey milk cow. That produced Henry right here, our new meat animal. So I'm not a huge fan of Angus. I know Angus is the popular meat cow that you would normally get. But Angus is a breed and a variety that, in my opinion, they're not the greatest. One, a little aggressive, not too bad, but they are a little aggressive, and they absolutely test your fence. 100% of the time, they are just mischievous. They always want the grass is greener on the other side. And if you have one downtime, say you have electrical fence like we have, one downtime to where it's not hitting at max power, they're gonna know about it and they're gonna get out. T-Bone always got out, and so does Henry. Take it for what it's worth. It's just our experience with Angus. I don't like him. That's why T-Bone's no longer here and Hank got to stay. But Henry just turned a year old in May, so he is time, because we did keep him as a bull. Now I will say that you don't have to always make him steer. Young bull tastes just as good. There's no issue there, but he will be going very soon to the butcher, or potentially us processing it ourselves. If we do it ourselves, it'll be closer to fall when we have some cooler temps in the air. And this little bitty one right here trying to hide. There she is. That is Shelby. So Shelby was Daisy's baby from this season. So she was born in about, I want to say it was March this year, when we had Miss Shelby right there. And Hank is the daddy. So she is a, oh goodness gracious, Flossie. She is a mini Hereford Jersey female. Our hope for her is that she will become our future milk cow. She's going to be smaller in stature, as you can tell from Hank, even though Hank is thick and wide, not as tall. So we're hoping that she will become the future milk cow as she gets older. We like the smaller size. She won't eat as much, which is something that you got to think about if you don't have a whole lot of pasture. And we could probably even put her over in the petting zoo with the rest of our animals. If you're new around here, we have a bunch of goats, chickens, pigs, all kinds of stuff over in our other side of our pastures that we have. And right here is Daisy, our current milk cow that we have. She's our best mama that we got going on. She lets you love on her. And she is a full-blooded Jersey milk cow. We actually milk her every day. And one good thing about a milk cow that I want to tell you all about, that is the biggest thing that people are resistant on getting a milk cow for, is they think they're forced at their homestead all the time. Now that's partially true, but it is if you're going to have animals on your farm, no matter what, you're partially tied to your homestead. But where we always keep her baby with her and do calf sharing, we don't have to milk every single day if we don't want to. I think misunderstanding is people think, well, you all have Jed, which is my brother-in-law. He's the one that edits our videos, and he helps us take care of the farm. We hired him to do so. Jed actually doesn't milk when we're gone. We had to do this properly to where we could still get away, but still have our milk cow to where we could get it every day. At the beginning, when your milk cow gives birth, they are as full as they'll ever be right then. So yes, during that time, you need to stay, you need to monitor, and you need to help milk her out if the calf is not milking her enough. But after that, once things kind of get in a routine and that calf starts drinking more, you can just leave the calf on her and you're free to go and come. Also, they don't need much. Now you'll see her, she looks thinner than everybody else. Big misunderstanding with dairy animals is that they're supposed to look like beef animals. That is 100% not true. The reason they're dairy and called dairy and not meat animals is because when they're in milk, the focus is in the milk. They're going to show their ribs. They're going to show some hip bones. Now there is malnourished to where that can get too extreme. If that's the case, they're not getting enough grass, they're not getting enough hay, or they're not getting enough protein. People don't understand when you're in milk, when there's something that's in milk, it needs a high protein diet. So you're not always going to be able to just do grass-fed animals. You're going to have to give them some protein. You're going to have to give them some grain. You got to make sure that they are staying in production of good amount of milk for you to have. Because if you're not giving protein, they're going to start going down in production. So when you might have been getting 2.5 gallons, 3 gallons, 4 gallons of milk a day, well, maybe you first got your milk cow, but then that production's moving down to like 1 gallon, 1.5 gallons. That's not because you have a cow that's not able to produce milk. It's you as the farmer are not giving them enough protein to produce the milk. Because now the body is sharing with the production of milk because it's got to eat too. It's got to add fat to its ribs. It's got to add fat to its belly. So if it's having to share that, the milk production is going to go down. It's not your cow's fault. It's us fault. Cows can produce differently though. I don't want to just put that as a flat line. You are going to have heavy producers and a little bit lower producers, but you should always be getting plenty of milk out of any Jersey milk cow that you have. It's all about the protein. So if you're watching that, make sure that they're staying healthy. If that milk production starts going lower, you might not have enough grass in your pastures. You might not be giving enough hay, or just ramp up protein. Give them a high protein diet to make sure that they're staying healthy and producing good milk for you and your family. Daisy and I, we've had our goes. When we first got her, easy, so easy to milk her. Then we have Henry. She absolutely doesn't want me to look at her. She almost kills me a couple times. She has Shelby, all is good again. And I think it has something to do with mamas and their boys. It's interesting. I think maybe she knows that he needed more and she wanted to save it all for him. So you're gonna have that stuff that you're gonna have to battle through too. But it's about not giving up. You can't give up in these situations once you make this commitment. Because believe me, I wanted to get rid of them like 100 times since we had them. And the reason we're actually doing this video, because it is almost the 2-year anniversary of us having, well, the original 3, one's not here. So Daisy, Flossie, and Hank. The other 2 were born on our property. 2-year anniversary of that. It's crazy. It feels like it's been like 10 years with these guys. But I have wanted to get rid of them so many times. You have no idea. But I knew the commitment that we made, and we just couldn't never actually pull that trigger because it's been a lifelong dream to have this, and we wanted to keep it going because we love our fridge full of milk and we love our freezers full of meat. And that's the beautiful part and why we have so many cattle on a small homestead and not just a milk cow. We wanted to make sure that we were able to have beef production too. And then last but not least, our sweet, sweet Flossie. She has got the personality of, I don't know, just the funniest thing that you've ever seen. She is the coolest cow that we've ever had, but she unfortunately, Hank, quit hogging the show here, buddy. There she is. Oh, that hurt. Hank, you're such a jerk sometimes to them. Anyways, Flossie, why is she here? So when we got Flossie and Daisy, Flossie had grafted to T-Bone. So T-Bone was a steer that they, or a bull that they had got, and she allowed him to nurse off her, which is fantastic because it kept her in milk. Daisy, on the other hand, had no calf at that time, but she was in milk. So we didn't need 2 active milk cows as our first animals that we ever had, our first cows that we ever had. We made the decision to focus on Daisy because she needed to be milked. We didn't want to just draw her up cold turkey, so we chose her as the one to milk and left T-Bone and Flossie to just have their thing. Well, that was going smooth for a while. After we had processed T-Bone, we let Flossie dry up, and that was a mistake that I wish I could take back because she has not been bred back since. Now, our friends we got these cows from did warn us that she had struggles being bred back. When we say being bred back, just basically getting pregnant. But we took that risk, and now we are showing signs that 2 years in a row, not been pregnant, and it's not looking like it's going to. Now we could try to do AI, different stuff like that to see if maybe that would take, but unfortunately, that's not our priority right now because we are focusing on Daisy and her animals. But Flossie is my favorite cow ever. So she brings me joy. Okay. Sometimes it's so difficult to try to shoot with animals. Don't you, Flossie? You bring me joy, girl. She's a sweet cow. She's loving. She has the tongue thing that you all have seen in videos. It's strictly just the personality trait of Jerseys. There's no real reason why she does that besides, hey, look at me and look what I can do with my tongue. She's an awesome cow. She's very sweet. She never gets out of the fence, even if it's completely down. She'll stand right there and be like, I told y'all so. Isn't that right? So she's here for joy. Now it's a big animal to have for joy, don't get me wrong. If we ever do sell one, it would be her, but it would just be to eat, because if she's not going to be bred back, there's really no purpose for her to have around besides joy. But I can't pull that trigger because I don't want her off the planet. I like her a lot, and we're just going to keep her and then keep praying and crossing our fingers that maybe, just maybe, one time we'll get lucky and she'll get bred and we can keep her in milk, because then we would probably sell Daisy if we could have Flossie in milk for good. That is our cows. There's Miss Shelby. She got her some hay. She's a funny looking thing. Doesn't look like she grows at all, but that's that mini in her. And she's definitely getting thicker and thicker every day. Hi, Shelby. Hi, Shelby. Her old Daisy, she has an ear tag in her. It says 4901. She came originally from a dairy farm. Some days she's 4901 and not Daisy. Isn't that right, girl? Now, cattle is not one of those things, if you're starting out on a homestead, that I'm going to recommend you go jump into. We really had to build up for this one. We knew it was going to be challenging. However, the primary piece of it is confidence. It's growing your confidence and having large livestock. So all of our other animals, if I needed to, I can manhandle with my hands. I have more power than they have power. And that helps your confidence. Now, if you got in a sticky situation, you could take them down. That's not happening with them, not at full-size animals. You know, you're pushing 1,000 pounds with these bad boys. But what I've learned since we've had them is they're easier to move and navigate and gentle, much more gentle than any of the smaller livestock that we have. And so once I was able to get that confidence to be that close to them with respect, they became easier than the goats did. So if you're thinking about getting cows, or if you have one and you're thinking about selling them, use this as encouragement as don't do it, because you're going to regret it. You're going to miss them. You're going to want that part of your homestead back, because a family milk cow can feed everything on the farm. They have so many nutrients in that milk that we could all survive on it. And that's something to remember too. It's a prepping situation having these cows. And if you don't have the greatest pastures in the world, or you don't have enough to move them around as often as you should, you know, that sucks, but it's also not a game deal or a game changer or breaker for you to have cattle. You're just going to invest a little bit more in hay and having a little bit more hay production and a little bit more protein production, but you can have them on smaller pastures. You can do this. It doesn't just have to be grass-fed. Listen, y'all, we as a society love popular terms. We love terms like grass-fed, organic, ultra-pasteurized, which blows my mind. We love these names and titles, but it's your farm. It's for your family. You're not out here trying to sell a bunch of USDA organic grass-fed Wagyu beef. You're trying to grow some clean, healthy animals so you can either drink their milk or eat their meat. So if you're okay with it being hay that comes from a trusted source, or you know it's going to be alfalfa pellets that you're getting some good protein out of, or protein mix, that's okay. That's your call. It's your farm. It's your homestead. You can call it whatever you want to. As long as you know what's going in them, it's still going to be cleaner than anything you buy that might say grass-fed. So if you want my vote, get the cows. They were actually my birthday present 2 years ago. That's how bad I wanted them. And here we are 2 years later, getting along just fine. We can do basically whatever we want with each other. All them flies get you. Before I wrap it up, I did think of one more thing. So cow manure, right? That's a popular topic that everybody likes to talk about. Let me show you what our cow manure patties look like. You see this? That's what they look like. And you know why? Because we have chickens. We have chickens that run in here and scratch through all that and make it good, spread, thinned fertilizer. So when you have the chickens that run behind your cows or are able to get over into the pasture, they're getting in there, they're picking out all that fly larvae, helping your fly population be lower. They're spreading that manure out so it's not sitting in a big patty. It's just getting spread out over your pasture to be nice, good fertilizer. So that is one thing I do highly recommend. Make sure that you have some chickens or some poultry that can get into wherever your cow pastures are to really help you out, because if you don't, you're gonna have those big piles sitting there, which would then burn a hole into your pasture spot because it's not spread out, and you're gonna have a really, really bad fly problem. Right now, you can see there's minimal flies on our cattle, which is rare. Usually cows attract every fly in the entire 100-mile radius and they're all attached to them. We don't have that problem, and it's all because of our chickens and our guineas. So definitely make sure that you have those able to get around, because it's gonna help your ground, it's gonna help your flies, it's gonna help the cows. It's all a good thing for having chickens around your cattle. Probably should have talked about this too. Fencing. So like I said, we use electrical tape fencing. We like that. It's easy. It's really not that expensive to throw up, and it's easy to put up. It's quick. I think we did 2 pastures, about 6 acres. I think it cost me a total like 300, 400 bucks. The biggest thing was the actual power, solar power that powers the whole fence up. But the poles, the tape, that stuff's not too bad. And as long as you're okay on doing, oh shit, I was like, you're in the world's coming down the driveway. And as long as you're okay of making sure that you check it and replace it, you don't have to have permanent fencing for cattle. You can do electrical tape. And then you can take it down if you ever did decide to get rid of cattle, and you don't have a bunch of permanent pastures and permanent fences up everywhere that you don't need anymore. So that's what I recommend, unless you do have a nice permanent spot that you know that's gonna be a pasture for all time. Well, I hope you all enjoyed your extra dose of hay for cooperating with the video. I'm sure there's all kinds of funny stuff behind me that I didn't see. This is what I was talking about with the flies. See, there's hardly any on her. Isn't that nice? Usually it would just be a black sheet of flies if you didn't have those chickens running behind them. Hank, you're being a bully. You're being a bully. So you won't do it to me. I always joke until White, I'm gonna throw him on Hank, see how long he can last. Hank would probably just sit there. He wouldn't even buck. But I hope I didn't forget anything. I'm sure there's a few things that I forgot out there, but do your research. This was a pretty jam-packed how to keep your animals. If you do want to know like how we milk and stuff like that, we have all kinds of videos specifically about milking our cow and that process. We have a playlist that's on here that is just about farm animals. So go check that out. You can scroll through it, find the ones that are about cows that you want, and give all those little more details. But the biggest thing I want to tell you about is how you can have them on a small property. So get it out of your head that it's never going to be possible. And then also for you all that are thinking about selling them, you're having one of those days like I've had before, this is your encouragement to not do it. You're gonna regret it. And as you know, cattle is not cheap. They are not cheap animals to purchase. So once you have them, that is a purchase you don't wanna have to do again. So don't sell them, keep maintaining, keep doing it. And I know you have the power to make that successful. All right, everybody. Y'all wanna tell them to hit that subscribe button below and that we love them? And then we'll see them on the next one. Cool, good chat. Cows, I love them. Goodbye, y'all. Here they come. Oh! You flipped over. Definitely one of our kids who's taking so long. Yep. Hey, good job. Good job.
All right, let's go do something else.
Any moment now. Hey, there they are.
You fast?
Yeah. Can you push me?
Oh, gosh, darn, that's cold.
Let's do a race. Whoever gets to the front
Hey,
first.
it's a lazy river. It's not a race.
We're just
I
chilling.
can't even go. I'm going backwards.
Come here.
I want to go backwards.
Wow. Ray Ray.
Hi.
Goodbye, Ray Ray. It's very cold.